The Watermark at the Pearl offers a pet-friendly urban environment for older adults that also includes on-site wellness and dining. Located in Portland's vibrant Pearl District, the Watermark redefines expectations for senior living. Every day brings enriching opportunities to live fully with connection, creativity, meaning, and purpose. So if you or a loved one are looking for independent or assisted living and/or memory care, visit portlandwatermark.com today. Your story continues at the Watermark at the Pearl. Veganizers World Vegan Month is happening all of November, meaning all month long you can enjoy vegan specials for a cause at participating businesses, including Mis Tacones, Nora, Vitopian, Boxcar Pizza, and so many more. As always, a portion of sales benefits nonprofits and progressive causes, and when you dine at participating locations, you can collect stamps for a chance to win gift cards. To learn more, visit veganizerpdx.com/world-vegan-month or follow them at veganizerpdx. A few recent moves in national politics are affecting everyday Portlanders. We have a federal judge permanently banning Trump from deploying national troops in our city. There are also the 8 Democrats who voted to reopen the government, making it very likely that healthcare costs for Oregonians will skyrocket. And hanging over it all are the unreleased Epstein files that our U.S. Senator Ron Wyden was tracking through their financial trail, an action some suspected initially brought Trump's gaze to Portland. It's a lot to get through. So today on CityCast Portland, I'm joined by Senator Ron Wyden to talk through some of these headlines. We figured he, might have the most insight on what the hell is going on. Plus, I get to ask him a question so many of you have been wondering about. And just a quick note that we taped this Monday afternoon, and since then, the new Democratic Arizona representative Senator Wyden mentions had not been sworn in by Republican leaders, is now scheduled to get sworn in today, meaning Democrats will finally have the votes to force the release of the Epstein files. It's Wednesday, November 12th. I'm Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. So last week, U.S. Judge Karen Immergut issued a permanent order barring the president from sending the National Guard from any state to Portland. And we're having this conversation on Monday afternoon, November 10th. But I'm assuming this order will be escalated to higher courts. So this is a moving target. But ultimately, there's just been speculation that this whole debacle has been a smokescreen to distract people from the administration's refusal to release the Epstein files, something that you've been a leading advocate for. Can you tell us where we are with all that and why you think it's important to keep pushing this issue?
Well, first of all, I think Judge Immergut has been calling it on the basis of the facts. I mean, she has repeatedly said that there is no evidence of what the Trump administration is claiming. And the reality is we're not taking the bait. They wanted the Trump people to figure out a way to get some kind of violent activity and try to drive an image of Oregon that just isn't the case. And we haven't taken the bait. And Judge Immergut has just been consistently speaking to the facts. I mean, from the very first judgment, she would say the Trump people didn't prove that point. So we know that you can have developments as you make your way through the judicial system. I get that. But based on the facts, I think we're in a strong position.
Yeah, so like you said, there's no factual evidence of anything that they're claiming. What do you say to people who are just like, well, what's going on then? Because I know that you were looking into the financial records from the Epstein files.
I still am. And, the reality, is we are continuing our work that began 3 years ago when we finally got permission to see these SARs, these reports that contain damaging information that were being kept by the Wyden administration. And what we showed from the very beginning is that there were thousands and thousands of wire transfers from Epstein to women, to wealthy billionaires. And it raised the question again and again that this was a big source of the sex trafficking that he engaged in. Remember this was somebody who really didn't have much money. And he basically wined and dined all these billionaires and got them to put up the money. And what we're saying now is two things. Number one, I'm staying at it until all the facts come out. And they may not be red, they may not be blue, but they're important. The American people are entitled to. And then when we get all the facts out, I'm going to initiate the kind of reforms with the various agencies, with the auditors, to make sure this never happens again. Sex trafficking is such an abominable offense. That's my goal. Get the facts out, then put in place a reform so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah. And do you know where we are in the push to release the Epstein files? I know the administration is trying everything it can to not release them.
Well, it's going to be harder and harder for them because the new congresswoman who got elected by her voters and duly certified by her state's election people, they're not going to be able to prevent any longer her being sworn in. And the Johnson regime over there in the House of Representatives has practically done somersaults to keep her from being sworn in. I've always said that with respect to the Epstein investigation, I support my colleagues going forward with their own kind of effort. We initiated the one approach that is based on follow the money. And if you'll recall, and people who are following the program recall, that's how the government caught Al Capone, is to follow the money through the abusive activity. That's what we're doing. We're going to stay at it.
Yeah. You spoke of someone getting voted in.
She is the new congresswoman from Arizona.
Gotcha.
She filled a vacancy, and Johnson has kept her from being sworn in now for weeks and weeks. It is outrageous activity because she has an election certificate from officials in her state. She's come to Washington, asked to be sworn in. There was precedent for her being sworn in. They're not going to be able to hold that off any longer. And I believe that will be helpful to the effort as well.
Yeah. And just so our listeners know, Senator Wyden was referring to U.S. Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva from Arizona's 7th Congressional District. And a Democrat is the reason why there is this tension. There will be less power in the administration.
That's correct. But beyond that, Johnson has sworn in Republicans in similar kind of circumstances. What does it say about authoritarianism and the way our government is operating that someone duly elected, nobody in Arizona of either party has challenged her election? She came to Washington to be sworn in and to represent her people. And particularly right now, there's a lot to do. So many people are getting clobbered with these high healthcare costs. We can talk about some recent developments in that area. But to not swear her in when her voters have approved her candidacy and the state election officials say she's been duly elected, I think is just unconscionable.
Yeah. Well, let's take a quick break here. And when we return, what happens now that the government is opening back up? Colder weather is coming, and with it, higher energy use. So if you're like me and are looking for ways to lower your electric bill this winter, PGE's customer dashboard makes it so easy to stay in control. Using your dashboard, you can track where your energy is going, see what's driving its use, and discover personalized tips to make helpful adjustments. All you have to do is log in or create an account, then use the Home Energy Analysis tool to update your home profile, and in just a few minutes, you're going to get suggestions tailored to your home and lifestyle. And while you're there, you can also sign up for paperless billing and explore other energy shifting programs recommended just for you. Go check it out at portlandgeneral.com/my-dash. That's portlandgeneral.com/my-dash. Walla Walla is officially inviting you, you, to enjoy the holidays in their cozy and charming small town. They're just a scenic 4-hour drive away, located in southeastern Washington, meaning if you visit soon, you'll have a few more chances to see the sun before our winter fully hits. Walla Walla Valley is also home to more than 130 wineries offering great food and wine. They also have a very walkable historic downtown core with lovely shops to explore. There's enough to do where you have the option to pack your calendar with wine tastings, golf, and local events, or go at your own pace for a nice, relaxing getaway. Go to wallawalla.org to plan your visit today. That's wallawalla.org.
You know, when most of us want to learn a new language, it's not because we're dying to memorize grammar tables or ace a quiz. It's because we actually want to speak it out in the real world with real people. And that's what Babbel is great at, getting you there fast. Hey, it's Michael Zibiak, Chief Revenue Officer here at CityCast. My daughter's a senior in high school, and after graduation, we're taking a father-daughter trip to Spain. And right now, my Spanish is, let's just say, very high school level. Shout out to Senior Patty from Syosset High School. You tried. When we're in Spain, I'd love to do more than just ask where the bathroom is. I want to be able to chat with locals, order tapas, and actually connect, not just read the menu and point. So I'm starting with Babbel. It's all about small steps, big wins, and it's super easy to fit into my life. Honestly, with how busy things get here at CityCast, I love that Babbel's bite-sized, 10-minute lessons fit right into my day, between meetings or over my morning coffee. I'm excited to pick up some real-world Spanish before we go, so we can experience Spain like locals, not tourists. Doesn't that sound better? Right now, Babbel's got a special deal for our listeners. Get up to 55% off your subscription at babbel.com/citycast. That's BABBEL.com/citycast for up to 55% off. Rules and restrictions may apply. Gracias and adios.
On Sunday night, you, along with a majority of your party, voted against moving forward with a Senate compromise to reopen the government without a guaranteed extension of healthcare aid. Now, how do you feel about the 8 Democratic Senate caucus members who conceded?
Let me set the backdrop so those following the program can hear how I feel. From the very beginning, Claudia, I said my red line, I had one red line, exactly one, was I was going to do everything possible to hold down these outrageous healthcare premiums that have clobbered so many people in Oregon. For example, we have been working with a couple in Eugene, where I went to school. They have seen their premiums go up 500%. They're a couple of years short of Medicare, so they're really in that kind of gap period where they're very vulnerable. That's what's going on here. And Donald Trump and Senate Republicans don't care at all about helping them. And there are similar cases around the country. So what I'm doing is doing everything I can to fight this. I'm the ranking Democrat on the Senate Finance Committee, which has jurisdiction over the tax credit, programs. So we are going to stay at it until we get help for those Oregonians, and may not be in the next 15 minutes, but we're going to stay at it until we get it done, because it's not right in the richest, strongest country on earth, where we're the only country that hasn't said healthcare is a basic human right, that people suffer this way, and we're going to stay at it till they get some help.
Yeah, well, that's much appreciated. I know this just is happening. It's, again, a moving target. But what would this mean for healthcare subsidies for Oregonians moving forward? We are also one of the states with the highest SNAP recipients.
Well, you're talking about a different issue. I happen to believe that hunger and healthcare are two sides of the same coin. But, Donald Trump has weaponized hunger programs as well for 42 million people. And we're going to keep fighting until that is established as, again, something that is a basic right, particularly for low-income seniors and kids and disabled folks. By the way, it's Veterans Day coming up. A lot of veterans are hungry. So these are two separate programs, but I really believe that they're two sides of the same coin. And once again, you come back to how can it be? And by the way, over my opposition as a senior Democrat on the tax writing committee, Donald Trump gave billions of dollars in tax breaks to billionaires. I'm trying to do something on that as well with the billionaire income tax program, so they would have to pay some taxes. We've got 23 senators on board. But the point is, as we have this program, you've got millions of hungry people in the United States and billionaires getting enormous tax breaks, and that's what I want to change. And by the way, in Oregon, we're talking about 750,000 people of having the food taken away from them.
Yeah, and thank you for pointing that out. I did ask you about healthcare subsidies, and then I threw in SNAP just because it was at the top of my mind as well. So thanks for sorting that out for me, the person who's interviewing you. I really appreciate that, Senator Wyden.
No,
but
programs are hard to follow, particularly because Trump has taken a meat axe to just about everything that is a lifeline for vulnerable people.
It's true.
I mean, when he's talking about going in there with what amounts to a laser-focused approach, he's doing it for practically everything that helps people. And we've got rural hospitals in our state that are really walking an economic tightrope. And they've told me, because I go to have town meetings in every one of our counties, I've had more than 1,100 of them, and they tell me that they wonder how they're going to be able to keep their doors open.
Yeah. So where do you think this leaves us with this compromise that was just made? I know, again, things are developing, but what does this mean for Oregonians?
Well, I believe, when we have the last vote, probably in the next day or so, members are going to go home for Veterans Day and the like. And I think they're going to hear from a lot of people who are saying that to not get some help in holding down these health insurance premiums is going to be devastating to them. They're not going to be able to have the money for rent and groceries and energy and help with kids and the like. And, the people that I'm talking to, and as I say, I committed to something that had never been done in the history of Oregon politics, which is to have an open to all community meeting in every county every year. And I've done that. We've got 36 counties. And people have never been as desperate as they are right now.
Well, I know you have to go soon. Before I let you go, I have another question some of your constituents have been grappling with. And so last week, we had one of the heads of Portland's literary arts on the show to talk about the Portland Book Fest. And she gave us a recommendation for a book every person in Portland should be reading right now. And the book she named was Omar El-Akkad's One Day Everyone Will Have Been Against This, which is about the ongoing genocide in Palestine. So I went to Omar's author talk just because I was curious, like, this is the book we're all supposed to be reading. And during the Q&A, your name came up in a very heated discussion. People wanted to know why you chose to keep arming Israel. And they asked Omar, hey, if you had 5 minutes with Senator Wyden, what would you say? And I thought to myself, I was like, well, I'm going to have 15 minutes with Wyden. Why don't I ask him myself what these people are asking? So I'm speaking on behalf of some of your constituents. Why have you consistently voted against all of the recent measures to stop U.S. weapons sales to Israel, even voting against bills co-sponsored by fellow Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley?
Well, first of all, this for me is such a heartbreaking issue and debate because I'm a first-generation Jew. My parents fled the Nazis in the 30s. Not all got out. We lost family in Kristallnacht and Theresienstadt. And I like to believe, and I think we covered it today, that I feel so strongly about humanitarian principles. I believe that Bibi Netanyahu is at the heart of the problem in the Middle East. It does not get better unless Bibi Netanyahu takes on some other position or does something else. I think it's right at the heart of it. And what I'm trying to do is step up the food assistance to Gaza, where the suffering has been so great, and to constantly use my position. I'm the ranking Democrat on the Intelligence Committee as well, so I have a chance to speak out about foreign affairs and to say, look, we have to prime the foundation of a two-state solution. Two-state solution. Now, easier said than done, and I'll close with what the challenge has been and why it's so heartbreaking. At my last town meeting in East County, a gentleman got up at the end and looked at me and said, no, Israel. Israel should not exist. And I thought of my parents, and I wrote about this in my book as well, It Takes Chutzpah. The reason I'm alive today is because of the courage of my mother. My mother was dealing with the Nazis, and everybody said Hitler wasn't a big deal, and she got everybody out in time. So the reason I'm able to go on your program, Claudia, is because of my mom and her courage. And when that person at my town meeting said, he was obviously unhappy with me, no Israel, people really should know that that's part of the debate. And my objective is to have a two-state solution where Israel and Palestinians can live in peace.
I hear that. And I understand this is a deeply personal issue that's connected to your traumatic history, to your very existence. But I still have to ask, what does that have to do with sending $20 billion of weapons?
First of all, we're right now looking at the possibility of a real ceasefire. As you know, there's been discussion about it. I certainly have profound differences with Donald Trump on so many issues. But if there's a real ceasefire, then there is a chance to move ahead, get surge food aid to Gaza, which I've been for, and start laying the foundation of a two-state solution. But it's not helped when people say, no Israel, no existence. And certainly when people say it, it strikes right at the heart of what my mom did.
I hear what you're saying. Both could exist. Netanyahu, bad man, but yet
Has to be replaced. It cannot, Claudia, I feel so strongly about this. There cannot be peace in the region with Netanyahu leading in Israel. And many Israelis feel that way as well. And this is something that I think we can come together on.
So why arm him?
I'm going to have to go because we got a vote coming up.
Oh, I hear you. Okay, well, I appreciate your time, Senator Wyden, and hopefully you'll come back and we'll get to touch base again on more issues. Thank you so much for fighting so hard for Oregonians.
Okay, to be continued. Thank you.
That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, share it with a friend or rate and leave us a good review. It really helps us out. And don't forget, you can support this show and get some great perks by becoming a CityCast neighbor. Just visit membership.citycast.fm for all the details. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.
Guess what? CityCast has some news. I'm Sean McPherson, the host of CityCast Twin Cities.
And I'm Jane Sihu, and I'm the host of CityCast Seattle. Hey, if you have a friend in one of our cities, can you text them for us?
Yeah, something, simple like, hey, how's that rash doing? And do you listen to podcasts? Because I have one you're definitely going to like. After that, tell them that CityCast has helped you become more informed, more involved, and more connected to your amazing city.
We're going to help that person you know in Seattle who's been trying to make friends.
And we're also going to do that for that guy you only kind of knew in college who moved back to the Twin Cities after graduation.
Don't we all have that guy?
Yeah, and usually that guy is named Todd.
So did you text them yet?
Jane, let's just wait a minute. We don't want to rush anybody. We'll do a little small talk. How's everything going in Seattle?
Beautiful, beautiful. Fall leaves popping. How about Twin Cities?
Today, beautiful and sunshiny in St. Paul. Okay, Jane, I bet they are done texting by now, and I just want to remind them, hey, you, please tell that friend to subscribe to CityCast Twin Cities or Seattle, wherever you get your podcasts.
Or if you don't want to text them and you're really just on Instagram sending them DMs all the time with like funny videos, send them a DM of our latest videos. You can find us at CityCast Twin Cities or CityCast Seattle on Instagram. Thanks.